what's under there. Let me take you down to see. Does it change?
が入ったら儲かったらやるんだよというじゃなくて、さっき言ったようにそういったところを理解した上で、とにかくやるという、そのために GMA という組織を作る、その3年前には日本では6地区がその GMT にパイロットで手を挙げてやりました。その全ての地区では成功にしております。
So, what I would like to share with you today, maybe it's not so scientific, because I just want to share what I have seen these days with all the animals. I've seen so many orphans in the sea these days. I've seen dolphins without mother. I've seen stranded dugong, swim alone and then get sick and died. And can you play the video with this? Okay. And this is how it looks like, the animal just drifts by, no mother, no milk, no food, and finally become a victim, become food of other animals, or just get stranded and killed by human. So, Dr. Baripat has mentioned about the One Health, and I would like to emphasize more that everybody must realize that One Health is very important, because human health and animal health is interdependent, of course, and we all need the environmental health. So, I would like to say that the challenges for lives beneath the surface increases with the population growth, namely, like climate change, human activities, pollutions, overfishing, habitat destruction, diseases, stranding, and all the alien species that we've been spreading all over the world, and make an imbalance of nature by our own hands. So today I would like to share what we have as a really big threat for the life underneath the water. First of all, like Mr. Kajit said, the pollution. Yes, created by our own hands and don't know how to get rid of it. And we, as a part of the people who actually created pollution, we have to realize that the household waste is really, really one of the biggest problems in this world, including the agricultural runoff. Because Thailand alone, this is an example, we are producing 365 kilograms of plastic waste per person that is in the environment, because only maybe 9% has been recycled, and the rest of that is spreading everywhere, 60% has been mismanaged. So, I would like to say that all the Lions Club, please have some kind of project to tackle this problem all over the world. The agricultural runoff has been the biggest problem also, because in agriculture, they put in pesticides, they put in chemicals, fertilizers, and all this waste will go into the public water and gets into your food, and gets into the environment, causing bacterial resistance. And when you get sick with these bacteria, there's no cure for it, because the animal, the bacteria also resist already to all these pathogens. So I am talking about industrial waste also, because a lot of our Lion Fellows has been involved in very big business, big industry. Of course, the cost to get rid of the industrial waste sometimes is more than the cost of just releasing it in the water and then just pay the fine when the officer fine it. So if you witness this, you have to be a part of it. That say no to pollution in the public water by the industry. The toxic algae, which whales eat plankton, and it kills the whales. So even this little drop of bad water that you put into the environment, it can actually kill, the very large whale. This is another sample of the pilot whale stranded in Thailand. We opened up the animals and we found 8 kilograms, 85 pieces of plastic bags inside the animal. And a lot of people ask me, why do they eat it? Why do animals eat plastic? Is it tasty? Is it good or something? But I would like to tell you, because animals eat on instinct. Whatever looks like food, they eat it. They don't have like much feeling of taste or anything in the mouth, just like human. So population. So a lot of demand on aquatic animal as food has been increased, and especially white meat or seafood. People believe that it's very healthy. We are now having the overexploitation of resources. It's not only reducing the number of fish that we're eating, but the whole having too much, because we're eating a lot of things, but we're not replenishing the nature. Another thing that may be a little bit further from you is the wildlife crime. You don't realize that a lot of people these days buying things from the market, illegal markets. People have illegally import things like corals, things like these are the tortoises that has been exported as pet. These tortoises, this is a case that we did in Suvarnabhumi Airport. We, in one of the suitcases, 300 tortoises has been packed in this kind of packaging. These animals will be left without food for about 1 month before, and no water for about 2 weeks. And the wrapping so that there's no arms and legs cannot come out, and no defecation. No urine come out, and become bad for the odor and everything in there. So most of these animals die. And this is the way that when Dr. Baripat talked about the alien species, this is how it happens. Illegal wildlife trade has been a very big problem. This photo is 2 days ago. Just 2 days ago, we had a case of dugong head cut off because people are trying to smuggle this dugong fang. The tooth of the dugong is believed to be the love portion. You know what I mean by love portion? Like you can make people love you by using dugong tears, and the magic of the dugong bone, can make you prosperous. It is all lies, because even the dugong is dead. Okay, that cannot help you, already dead. In the old days, the story is like, if you have a dugong and you would like to have like your husband love you so much or your wife loves you so much, they put a dugong on the beach. This is so cruel, and hit the dugong until the tear comes out and collect the tears, believing this is the greatest love. Britain that says that having dugong tear as a really the magic part of whatever powder you're buying. Please make sure that they go to the police, okay? Because this is so cruel and illegal. So another threat that I would like to talk about is the habitat destruction. These days, not only the harvest of the corals, but also during like the mangrove area has been turned into shrimp farms, and a lot of aquaculture has been happening. All trees are cut. So mangrove is like a nursery for all lives in the ocean. All the babies come here first, and then before they get out to the ocean. So if you don't have the mangrove, you're dead, you're doomed. Would like to come up for nesting. This is what they aim for, the trees, the beach forest. So if you cut down all the trees, there's no marking, you destroy all the ecosystem around there, so there's no more nesting for our sea turtles. A lot of things, the dam and all the construction can destroy the habitats of all these marine animals or aquatic animals. And these are the photos that is so common these days. A lot of plastic and rope. Rope is really bad news in the water. So make sure that you don't have anything that looks like string, because these animals, not only that they eat the plastic, but it wraps around them and they cannot live, they die. And they die of the plastic cuts. We have so many, like in Rayong area near here, we have so many sea turtles without fins, without legs, because of all this entanglement that happens by the fishing gears and all this waste, plastic waste that has been in the water. And these animals, they don't have arms, they cannot they disentangle themselves. So what they did was they died, that's all, tortuously. Another thing is like the waste that we can see, the pathogen disposal by the climate change, making global warming worse. A little bit of touch, adding from Dr. Pet was saying is that we found that we had last year was record hot. The temperature has increased like 1.18 degrees Celsius. This is like a record high of the world. So it significantly impacts marine ecosystems because a lot of people are vulnerable to the heat. So we're having a lot of acidity in the water. This rising of temperature is really bad news for our sea turtle because in sea turtle and all reptiles, their sex depends on the temperature. So if you have the eggs and the temperature is over 32 degrees Celsius, they all become female. Or if it's cooler, like about less than 28 degrees Celsius, they become all male. So what happens is that, can you guess who is more? Of course, female always conquer the world. so right now, we have the problems of not enough male. I'm saying not only in sea turtle, also in human. Water is bad. It's because a lot of animals that has to calcify themselves, like having hard shell, they have to use the carbonate in the water. With acid water, it's very hard for them to build the shell. So we are producing over 40 billion tons of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere each year. And this is another thing that we have to change. Now, another big problem is the seawater rise. As we know that during since 1980, also the seawater also rise to 2 feet already. This is a lot for the whole water of the world. And last year we had like over 1 centimeter rise of the seawater alone. Why are we worried about seawater rise? Because these animals, the sea turtle, they have to nest on the beach. And so if the sea turtle if the sea level rises, then they have no place that they can nest. It becomes a threat to the coastal ecosystem. Now, I would like to say that even though we feel like that nothing we can do about the climate change because the world is going on like this, but as a community involvement, we can also urge the local community to help us because they are the first one who would be affected by the bad environmental health. Right? So in Thailand, the coastal community to help with the stranded animals, the Department of Marine and Coastal Resources already built over 40,000 people to learn how to do the first aid and to rescue animals, helping stranded animals. And this is what happens, when they are stranded in the mud. This is a dolphin. We are all trying to use a mud sledge to help them. So the community effort is very important in conservation of the community. First of all, they would have to reduce because they discard them correctly. And that's what we should do with all kinds of waste. Okay? So I think what we can use from the community is that we can use them to become, we call it like a citizen scientist, so that they can collect data for us, they can monitor the environment for us, and they can tell us when bad things are happening, like all the changes. So sustainable fishing and replantation of the forest or anything that kind of like restore the ecosystem, they can help. Okay, I would like to in terms of cases. So the last thing I would like to tell, about the community is that we have to raise awareness and using the young people. Young people are very important. I have told when people ask me why do you think young people, how do you think you can make young people conserve? The secret is you have to make them love first. You don't want to protect anything you don't love. So what you can do is that you have to expose them and love the animals, love the environment, and then after that you can ask them to help protecting our environment. So this with the head up and perpendicular when swimming like this. So we put them through the CT scan and found there's something that is denser than the bone. What can be denser than the bone? What happens is that this sea turtle has eaten over 1,000 coins. Because he lived in the rescue pond, which people like to go in and throw coins. You know how you throw coins in the pond? I would say that if you have animals in pond, do not throw coins in because they will eat it. And this is what happened to this sea turtle. So finally we made about 6-7 hours operation to animals unintentionally. So anyway, maybe I stop here, and I thank you very much for letting me have this chance to share with you my experience.
Thank you very much, Professor Nandita. You're reporting about life under the sea. Like I said, we live on land. We don't know much about down up to the moon, but we don't even know a bit about what's going on under the sea. So this is something we should be more aware of, and I think it's important that now we have heard from the three learned persons and about experts in this way, this field. We heard about what happened in the air. We heard what happened on the ground. And now we just heard what happened under the sea. So we cover this sphere, the whole thing. But before I go any further, I will just go back to Dr. Penn. If you have any other information you want to give, please take the floor.
Thank you very much. I think we have heard so much about the problem, and I don't want to be everybody. Also show you about the opportunities and also some of the good signs that we started to see happening all around the world, also including Thailand. All the country, I think almost all the country in the world sign up to this framework, and then we aim to scale up our conservation effort. So we want to protect at least 30% of land, 30% of the ocean under conservation. So by 2030, so that's why now there's a campaign around the world about 30 by 30, having the world protected at least 30% by 2030. Thailand also we joining the coalition as well. It's called High Ambition Coalition for 30 by 30. So that means we agree to scale up our conservation effort. So that's a good thing. At least the political will is in place. And when you're looking at this global agreement in 2022, it's not only talking about conservation or protected area, but also every country actually agreed to restore the degraded ecosystem at least 30% as well by 2030. We want to reduce the excess nutrient and overall use of pesticide and chemical by half by 2030. We want to reduce or basically don't want to develop anything, any project in the high biodiversity area. So this also has been agreed on. And importantly, and I think it was discussed so much at the COP, the conference of the party 2 weeks ago now, about the money issue. Because if you talk about we want to do conservation, but at the end there's no budget from the government, there's no budget anywhere to be seen. Basically it's just no action, talk only. So I think the world also agree that mobilizing funding will be very important. $1 billion for conservation. And there's still a big gap, and that's what has been discussed quite a lot in the last COP. Over the year, actually conservation area has increased substantially. So you can see the graph from the beginning of the century until now. This is the proportion of the area under protection. So we have seen very big progress in the last decade as well. There's a lot of expansion in terms of marine protected area as well as on land. And I think this is some of the hope. So this is a figure. All the sites that you can see are now under protection indefinitely. So this area are set aside for conservation, and I think we can almost see it as a hope spot. So if we have more of this area expanding, that should provide some hope. And now the current stand is that we have The protected area on land is about 18%. In the water, about 8%. Our target is how to make it up to 30%. So that is a current challenge. CM, and basically this may be a bit a long word, but what it means is the other area-based conservation, effective conservation measure. But before that, I want to highlight that actually our protected area, what we know of, national park, wildlife sanctuary, is do work and they deliver conservation outcome. This is Thailand. We have over 200 protected areas around the country, both land and sea. And this already cover about 20% of our area. One success story about the recovery of, I think it's also a clear success story when you combine science, enforcement, and community outreach. So you need all three components to work together. But it is something that Thailand has been achieved in terms of conservation. So the population of tigers are recovering, and it's probably the only country outside India and Nepal that tiger population are recovering. As Dr. Boripat said that, I think less than an hour from where we stand, there's a lot of elephant roaming in protected area, but now also a little bit too many of them now coming out of the forest, causing the problem. But I think it also shows that I think conservation in protected area is before when you go to the park, national park in Thailand, when I started working long time ago, you don't see any large animal, any large herbivore, gaur, but now if you see in many national park, you can see wildlife. Just a bit like in Africa now, you can do the safari in Kuiburi National Park where they do grassland management, so people can actually see some wildlife. So wildlife-based tourism is a reality now in many national parks in Thailand. In the Gulf of Thailand, where we know that there's so many environmental issues, overfishing, pollution, but you still see the whale. You can do whale watching out of Bangkok. In Bang San, in Chonburi, actually this year you particularly have a lot of whale coming to do foraging because they close the area for fishing for certain time of year to try to restore some of the fish population. And so you see the tribe of some of the whale, Buddha's whale. In the Gulf of Thailand now you have photo ID. So the researchers have identified the animal by the scar, by the photo, and they have identified now over 100 individuals that live in the Gulf of Thailand. So this is a conservation success. If you live in Bangkok, Suan Rot Phai, so a Bangkok park, a public park in Bangkok, in the middle of in the city, record of more than 200 species of birds found in the middle of Bangkok. So biodiversity, not all lost, is still surrounding us. And when you see the opportunity, so bird watching actually is one type of the tourism that is fast growing. There's a lot of people who come in to want to watch particular bird, and it's actually a very lucrative market because they are quite an ideal tourist. They are high spending, they stay in the country for a long time, and they don't cause any environmental impact. So also there are many places in Thailand and around the world that discover that they are particularly resilient. So even though they are hammered by coral bleaching, but they can come back quite fast. So this is the coral reef in Kok Surin National Park. In 2010, about 95% of the coral reef died because of coral bleaching in the span of 3 months. But it is 13 years after, so many coral come back very well, and it shows that the nature has resiliency and also ability to come back when you do it right. Maya Bay, I don't know if you heard, but it is a very famous bay in Thailand where Leonardo DiCaprio filmed the beach many years ago. it has been overrun by tourism. The picture taken before this, 6 months before, there was a full of speedboat. So a lot of tourists just everywhere. After 6 months of closure, the black-tip reef shark returned, and now it's become the area for research and conservation of the shark. So if you make the right decision, nature can still come back. The leatherback turtle. I think after
that they are sharing with us. Unfortunately, we got to go through the seminar, 3 seminars this afternoon. But I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you very much indeed, Dr. Pet, Dr. Baribat, and Dr. Lee, because he's a line member. If you're interested to ask further, you can corner them just right outside the room while they're still in the vicinity. But once again, thank you, and thank you each of you for coming and participating in this. I think it's a very, very good subject that we could bring about. It is not the one-time topic. This is an ongoing topic. Global warming, wildlife and all that. We responsible most of it. So it's up to us to make that correction. Thank you once again.
We are on Happy OSEAL Forum in Thailand, Pattaya. Okay,ค่ะ Welcome to Thailand. Okay,ค่ะ Happy OSEAL Forum in Thailand. Okay,ค่ะ Happy ค่ะสภาพประเทศไทยนะคะ Welcome to Thailand. Welcome to Thailand. Okay, bye. Happy meeting นะคะวันนี้อีกวันหนึ่งนะคะ
Daily Council Chairperson of Mr. Governors. Participants, please sit and hear.
Okay. 1, 2, 3 โอเคค่ะ อย่าเล่นค่ะ